What's going on, everybody? Sorry I missed last week's episode. Uh, just to purely be honest, I didn't feel like doing it, so I didn't. Yeah, is what it is. Everybody gets busy. Um, yeah, so let's get straight into it and make sure real quick. Yep. Okay. So, uh, first things first, let's go over some kind of housekeeping stuff. Trade deadline is Saturday. This Saturday. If you guys could be so kind to put in a little bit more effort than normal to make sure that you look at and or respond to trades quickly, so there's no last minute deadline, things, because people are wanting to do trades and all this other stuff. But yeah, it's now or never. So I know everybody's busy and you don't whatever, but at least like that night, get back to them or something, or have some sort of communication line open. Yeah. So that's that. Week 10 matchups. So this week was crazy. It was either you know big blowout games like Becker beating Jordan or Tiffany beating Breadaway, or really close games such as Ben and Lance, Kim and Matt, and then me and Tim. So crazy, 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 crazy. Here is the updated standings for those of you who might not have looked in a minute. Uh, Becker has locked up a playoff spot. Congratulations. Round of applause. Insert applause sound here. I don't actually have that. It was a joke. Anyway. Yeah. So, highest points for in the league by far. And as of right now, if you look at the playoffs tab, it says that Jordan is in. But remember, I'm going to say it 10,000 times, and I know everybody's probably tired of it, but I'm just going to say it again because I don't want somebody to be like, huh, how come I didn't make the playoffs? It's the sixth seed is the highest points for. So right now, if it was to end today, Becker, Tiffany, Lance, myself, Kim, and Ben would be in the playoffs because Ben has almost 1,300 points for, and that is higher than Jordan, Breadaway, Matt, or Tim. So just letting you know. And then for anybody who may or may not be wondering why Lance is third seed and I'm fourth, yada, yada, yada. Again, points for. That's why. So Lance has more points for than I do. He's ahead of me in the standings. No real stuff here to talk about as far as waivers and fab offers, other than Tiffany spending a crap ton of money on Audric Estime with no other bids. So, but it's fine. You can't take it with you. So. We are also starting the bye apocalypses. So this week and next week, a lot of teams on bye. This week, Arizona, Carolina, New York Giants, and Tampa Bay all on a bye. So let's get into the Week 11 matchups and my predictions that you guys don't care about. I've written down who I thought was going to win yesterday, but I did not write down any reasonings on why. So I predicted myself to win. There's some matchups I do and don't like on my team. I'm not going to talk about those. And yes, I will be picking up a defense at some point in time. Don't rush me. I do like the pickup of Houston to play against Dallas, Matt. That was very nice. I do not like Justice Hill being in the starting lineup, but again, it's because Chuba's on bye. You got Singletary. Like, it's just, we're gonna start that bye week stuff. I've literally got one available player on my bench who could be subbed in right now. So yeah, it's It's rough out here in the streets, but I think it's a close game, but I think I win. Yeah, I don't really know about the Pearsall kid, like both on the same team. I do, however, like that I have to play Jaden Daniels and you have Terry McLaurin. I think that's going to work out really well for you. Hopefully, Jaden rushes the touchdowns in, but I don't know. Either way, it's a bad matchup. So, yeah, I like the Tucker Craft against Chicago. Cooper Kupp, New England. Jared Goff should be good against Jacksonville. Hopefully he throws it to Amon-Ra. Anyway, that's about all I have to say about our matchup. Ben and Becker. I have Ben pulling up the upset of the 9-1 Becker's team. I'm not saying don't go chasing waterfalls. I'm not saying it as like, well, I just said it, but anyway. Yeah, I got Ben pulling up the upset on this one. I do like the Philly side of the tomorrow's matchup. Hurts Brown. Also like Sutton this week against Atlanta. JT against New York. Anthony Richardson is back in at quarterback for those of you who have missed it. I think that bodes well for JT. Kyron against New England. I like it. David Njoku against New Orleans. I like it. Ladd McConkey against Cincinnati. I like it. I don't know really how to feel about Amari Cooper. I think that one's going to be bad, but, whatever. And then there's, you could put DK in there, all this other stuff. It's fine. Becker's got Malik Neighbors on a bye. Javonte Williams may or may not have lost his job. Cade Otton on a bye. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. I still like the matchup, but I don't like it as much as this. I don't know. I know Washington's defense is really good, but I don't know. Joe Burrow seems to have really good weeks of production, and then for fantasy production, not NFL. Fantasy production, and then he kind of dips back down a little bit, and he'll do that roller coaster ride. Don't know how I feel about Zay Flowers. I think you can kind of throw on Pittsburgh. What does it say? 12th fewest. Okay, so no, you can't really. Maybe you can run on Pittsburgh. Maybe that's what it is. Yeah, I still don't know what to think about him. Bijan should be fine. Saquon should be fine. Kyle Pitts against Denver. Let's see what it says about Denver. I still don't. Kyle Pitts is so hit and miss anyway. Rico Dowdle, I don't like it. The offense is just left for dead now. You can literally stack the box against the crappy running backs, and Cooper Rush will throw an interception, so don't like it. Jalen Waddle, I think that's a really low-scoring game, actually. I don't think the Dolphins open it up too awful much. I think it's more of a running game for them, so I don't know how I feel about Waddle. Plus, he'll make a catch for 8 yards and then be in the medical tent for a couple drives. So don't know, but I'm picking Ben in the upset. Kim and Tiffany, I have Tiffany winning. I think this would be a pretty close game too. I think I have her winning only because I really, 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 really do not like the Najee Harris against Baltimore and Ray Davis starts from Kim. Ray Davis, you're just kind of hoping for a touchdown, and Baltimore can shut down the run. You can throw on Baltimore, but you can't run on them. And then there's also the C.J. Stroud against Dallas. I think he throws a touchdown, but I think they just run the ball down Dallas's fucking throat. So I don't think 17 is going to be it. Hawkinson is a good play this week. I do like Garrett Wilson against Indy. You obviously Justin Jefferson. You got Nico Collins back, so hopefully Stroud can do enough for the Nico thing. But I'm not predicting it for this week just because I think they won't need it. you got James Conner, Baker on a bye, so it's rough out here with the bye weeks. Lamar Jackson against Pittsburgh. I mean, second fewest, but it is. Lamar's going to get his points. Brian Thomas Jr. I don't know how to feel because if Trevor Lawrence doesn't play, then Brian Thomas probably won't be very good with Mac Jones. But if he does play, then I don't know. Really like Juwan Jennings in this matchup. Achane and Gibbs must starts. Don't really have a lot of confidence in Mark Andrews, Eckler, or Tillman. And Eckler's one of those where I think she has to play. Yeah, it's either him or Estime. I don't like Eckler now that Brian Robinson is back because they're both not going to be fantastic. They're both going to be mid. So you're going in and I think that's your ceiling on Eckler. So I don't know how to feel about that. And then Cedric Tillman, I mean, I think I'm wrong on Tillman. I think Tillman's a good thing to have. 18 points on a mid, what they say is 13th worst or whatever. Why did I just click out of that? Really bad defense against pass, pretty good defense against pass. He still does it. So I think Tillman was a good pickup. And then you also have T. Higgins you can throw in there if you wanted to. If he's even playing, who knows? So limited practice. I'm sure he won't. But so yeah, I'm picking Tiffany. Tim and Breadaweg. I have Breadaweg winning, but I think this is the one I could be wrong on. So if I had to pick one that I'm like doesn't count because I think I might be wrong, it's this one. The Kansas City Bills matchup. All of these games always happen where it's supposed to be on paper you're like, oh my god, that's going to be a good game, but it ends up being really slow paced, running the ball, and then in the fourth quarter everything starts going crazy because they're tied and they're trying to win the game at that point. So I don't dislike the Bills Kansas City players this week, but I don't like them either. So Debo trying to not punch a teammate this week, playing Seattle. I like it. Jaden Reed against Chicago. McCaffrey came back last week, did really well. Well, not really well. He did okay. I think he had a pretty low snap percentage, so I think that gets ramped up and CMC's back. David Montgomery against Jacksonville should be good. Dallas Goedert against Washington, don't like it at all. I think this could literally be a 0 points because Goddard only has good games when A.J. Brown and or Devonta Smith are not playing. When they are playing, you're literally just hoping for like a luck wide open. He was wide open touchdown plus. I lost my train of thought. Anyway, James Cook against Kansas City, don't feel super confident about it. And then Jameson Williams against Jacksonville, you can do whatever you want to Jacksonville, so I don't feel super fantastic. Plus, he's not been very good in the last couple weeks. And then over on Breadaweg's side, Sam Darnold against Tennessee. Tennessee has a decent defense, so I don't know if it's going to be a close game or not, but Darnold should be good for, 15 to 18. Tank Dell against Dallas. Kind of what I said earlier about Nico Collins. I don't think they're really going to need to pass a whole lot. I think Joe Mixon's going to have a major game this week. So do like DeAndre Hopkins. Breece Hall against Indy should have a hell of a game. Josh Jacobs, yeah, I don't know. Evan Ingram, kind of same story as Brian Thomas. If Lawrence is playing, great. How did Evan Ingram do last week with Mac Jones? He had 10 points. Okay. tight ends are always end up being the safety valve for those backup quarterbacks who kind of suck. They just throw to the tight end. So Evan Ingram might be all right. Detroit, I think, is not super awesome against. Oh, they are super awesome. That's okay. I'm insert foot in mouth. Anyway, Calvin Ridley matchup against Minnesota. I really like that. Baltimore and Minnesota are the two teams that are really good and can score points, but are super easy to throw on. So, really liking the Calvin Ridley play this week. I think 11 points is going to be really low. I think this is like a 20-plus point week for Calvin Ridley. J.K. Dobbins, Cincinnati defense kind of sucks, so I like that play. Going bold there with the Atlanta defense. Wouldn't do it personally. Denver's offense has been looking a lot better. But Tim, nobody on a bye, and Bredeweg just has Marvin Harrison. So picking Bredeweg to win. And then this one shouldn't be too awful surprising, but definitely picking Lance to win this one. Brock Purdy's looking really good. Me and him had been in talks over the season periodically about getting him a quarterback, and he really believes in Brock Purdy, and I didn't. Looks like you're right, Lance. So Devontae Adams against Indy. I don't know. Again, you can do whatever you want to Indy. So do they run it? Do they pass it? Can Indy keep up with Anthony Richardson? I don't know. George Pickens against Baltimore. Love it. Derrick Henry against Pittsburgh. Doesn't matter. You play Derrick Henry. Chase Brown's been on fire recently. So got to plug him up and play him. Brock Bowers, same thing. He's the only option on that offense. Joe Mixon, I think he's going to destroy Dallas this week. I think that projection of 17 is super low. Don't know about Tyreek, though. He's dealing with a wrist injury? Yeah, a wrist injury. And it seems like he's been dealing with it all year. Tyreek Hill has been one of the more disappointing players for fantasy football this year. A good week one, but after that, it's just this is not Tyreek Hill numbers. These are just awful. And I'm aware that Tua was out, but Tua's been back for 3 weeks now, and you can see the production spike, but it's just not good. So, I'm really surprised he doesn't have Aaron Jones in for Tyreek Hill, but okay. I would even play Josh Downs over Tyreek Hill. So, there's that. Jordan's team, Drake London, should do okay. CeeDee Lamb against Houston, that's rough. No Dak Prescott. No good fantasy points from CeeDee Lamb. Pollard against Minnesota. Minnesota's got a pretty good run D, I think. They can be passed on pretty easily. DeAndre Swift, now that they fired the OC and Matt Eberflus is, right behind him. This might be, I'm going to put a disclaimer, this might be one of those games where every year the head coach or the OC gets fired and directly the week after the team looks like a Super Bowl contending team and they play for the new guy, and then after that they kind of suck. So I think that happened to the Saints last week where they fired their head coach. They played amazing and won the game, and then now they come back down to reality. So I'm still going to bet against DeAndre Swift. Dalton Kincaid, he's just not it this year. I got Kincaid in like every other league other than this one, and I'm sad about it too, Jordan. Puka Nacua should be all right against New England. They have a good defense, but it's Puka Nacua. He gets it done. Kareem Hunt, enjoy it while you can. When Pacheco comes back, Kareem Hunt is going away. So, but I do like to play this week. So, I still think Lance takes it pretty easily. Kenneth Walker on the bench, he probably just hasn't, now that I look at it, he probably hasn't updated his lineup. So I'm going to put I'm going to say he plays Kenneth Walker over Pollard or Swift. I'm sure he'll play him over Pollard. I like that a lot better. Still going to pick Lance to win. You just mix in Henry. They're just, and Pickens are my top 3 scorers from his team this week. I mean, you can't stop it. So, anyways, that is the predictions. Quick little talk here. Next week's episode, I think I'm going to switch it up a little bit on a different format. I'm trying to get John. Everyone will remember him from last year. I'm trying to get him to come on the show and I'm going to make it where I have everybody's team written down on paper or printed off or something. And I'm going to get rid of the team names. And so he won't know whose team is whose. And I want him to rank what he thinks are the top teams in the league and maybe even give a record along with it and just see if he can guess whose team is whose. I know he doesn't know a lot of us super personally, but you kind of develop habits in fantasy football. So as far as the players you pick, he might say my team is Kim's team because I have Devonta Smith, kind of one of those things. So, yeah. Anyway, I think that would be fun. It'd kind of be a little bit of a different episode too, other than the just regular format of boom, 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 and that's what it is. So, anyway, guys, thanks for listening. Yeah, have a good one.